Hey guys, DJ from PTA. Want to go over my trade on Qngy for the day. Today being October 28th. Haven't really been trading. Haven't really been seeing plays that I felt I wanted to be a part of, along with managing the group and helping new traders come on board. I haven't been able to trade as much as I would like. But it's always a pleasure to give you this information and try to help you guys understand trading a little bit more. Been having people reaching out to me in the Discord and other ventures and just saying, hey, we're looking for those videos. So here's one. I'm actually going to follow up with a video to give you kind of a weekly analysis of different trades and strategies you could have used for the previous for this current week or whatnot. So let me go over the SPY first, just so we can get a consensus of what's been going on in the market. We had a nice reversal back over the key area. So if you watched my last video from the 20th, the play on the 20th, I would have talked about this area being very critical and us maybe getting back over this line here, this trend line. So I'm looking for a reversal back to 396 and maybe a pullback. Looks like we closed around 390 was the high after hours. So it's a good sign that we might get a push into the 396, or we may get a collection back down to the previous week high. It's really just based on the overall gist. Overall, we're still in a down market. So if I was to look at this the other way around, or looking at it, we're still in a downward motion. We could bounce back up here. We gotta retest the 396 first, and then we'll see from there. Now the trade I wanted to go over is Qngy. Now this trade was very interesting because of the amount of volume it had over 106 million in volume today. The share count was about 6, so it rotated the float, or rotated the share count a little over 17 times. So it was something that was on the radar. I thought it would have had a nice push. We're just not seeing those really good follow-throughs. And what I mean by that is that stocks are prop up with all this volume, this massive amount of volume, and then it just simply crashed. So it's one of those things where it's just unfortunate, because it can be very discouraging in trading when you really don't see any follow through. But people who are wise, people who are smart, they play the price action, you get in and out. So this one was one that I played later in the day. I played the price action and took a little snip, but nothing really crazy. So I just want to kind of go over the trade and kind of explain it. So we came off this big pivot right here. Was a key area coming into the morning. I completely missed that part of the trade. Some of the people did trade this area, got it off of a pre-market high, and then rallied back up to 449. Now for me, I played it off of the pullback. So once we got this significant pullback and then a hold, I figured that this thing may continue to rally, but it kind of propped up. So once we looked at this, basically the way I was viewing it was we had this quick pop up into this key area. So let me draw the line so you can kind of see. So the intraday key area was like right here. It was 426 or 427. Let me just say 427. Yeah, somewhere right here. So that was a key area on the level 2. So when we got this prop up and a flush and it held, that's what made me start getting kind of confident in the trade. So I'm looking at this from this point of view. So we've already had this nice little flush, pull back. We got us a nice intraday hold somewhere right here around 310. So when it started to kind of creep up here and started to respect this area, this is where I personally got interested in the trade. So my theory was, this is gonna bounce, because it had already took off, fell short, So I'm thinking that somewhere right here it was going to bounce, maybe come back and then take out coming into the later part of the day. So my execution on this trade was really based off of this key area here. And I want y'all to see this so you can kind of understand this area. So I had a few people in the members was asking me about this particular area, this 345 area. Now on the level 2, as you can see, this is the same area that it pulled away from. It broke out, retest, bounce, and couldn't get over. And then it returned right back to this area right along the trend line. So I filled in about 371. So I got in about right. I'm gonna turn these to purple so you can know that these are intraday areas. Don't want any confusion. So these intraday areas, this right here was my actual entry. So it was at 371. So what was interesting is that once it hit this area of this 371, it started to climb, and then right here around the $4 mark is when I started taking shares off, because it's kind of struggled to get there. It really struggled. So when I got in right here, 371, I had a risk down to here. So my risk was literally like, I don't know, let's see here, 7 cents. So I had a 7-cent risk. So it bounced up, got up here to 394, kind of choppy. So when I seen it start to yield back up here, it didn't ramp up. So that was concerning, because, you know, ideally when I'm looking at a trade, I want to see it give a big push. And I just didn't get that with this trade. And that's what made it very annoying, especially with the amount of volume and the rotation of the flow. You would think it would have taken off. But right there, once it did this bounce move, this pullback here, let's see something here. So right here, this pullback, and then it ramped up. It didn't get over. It wasn't like a powerful ramp up if you look at that. So when it pulled back and then ramped up, it kind of stalled out. When I saw that, I just got out. I was looking at the level 2. I seen people packing at 405, so I just started releasing shares at 4, and then luckily I took off a big portion of it just because of the way the day was, and then it kind of chop, and then it eventually tried to retest this area, which was my entry. It bounced off of it, which created the downward turn, and then it just flushed and hit my stop loss, which was at once it bounced and then it reclaimed it. When it got back here, I just got out right there for a break even. So I did take off a little bit up here, and then it pulled back. So unfortunately, I didn't get the full pull. And let me kind of explain that, because what I was thinking, it did everything except for the follow through. So I'm thinking it's gonna bounce here and then bounce here. I figured it would bounce here, and then we probably would have got a leg up, pushed out all the shorts because it was late in the day, and then, you know, realistically get a takeoff. You know, I was thinking, looking at this, that hey, once it bounced, and then it continued up, which was pretty steep, but once it turned up, I figured once it got over here, because it tested it 1, 2, yanked it back down, they ripped it back up, yanked it back down. So this is still dealing with, and if you take it to a higher time frame, you can really see it still was moving in that direction, bounce, and I figure it will bounce here and take off. And then everybody would be forced to cover, and then pre-mark after hours we went bananas and probably win another $1 or $2. That was my theory. Didn't work out that way. But, you know, with this amount of volume, this is something I'm definitely going to keep on the radar over the next couple of days, because this is the one that you'll look up and in 2-3 days it'll run. But, you know, ultimately you want to make sure you play the price action. So was it one of my best trades? No. Was it profitable? Yes. And at the end of the day, we're trying to make profit. So could have, you know, would I've done it a little bit different? I mean, it probably would have been better to get in first thing in the morning. That probably would have been the ideal trade. Maybe on one of these miniature pullbacks, I probably would have played it right off of here and risked to here, which would have been about 7 cents, and then rode the wave. So it was a decent trade starting out, but if you missed it, then you had to wait for it to set up actually again. This right here wasn't a really clean setup, and then when it did this knife move here, everyone probably thought it was gone, and then once it regrouped, and resurfaced and pulled back, I was thinking that probably would have been the entry here. So ideally, it just didn't play out the way as I thought, but still a good decent trade. Still made profit on it. So guys, if you have any questions, concerns, leave it in the comment section. Make sure you hit that like button and subscribe. Make sure you follow us on Instagram. We're going to be putting some exclusive content on there. We still got the Twitter going, so you can definitely tweet on there. And guys, as I tell all old traders and new, stay steady and stay focused.